Hi, welcome to Infodumpies. My name's Brianne. I'm autistic, I have AuDHD, my pronouns are she, her, and if you're listening to this, I'm going to marry your mom. That's right, you. I'm going to marry your mom. And you could possibly say, no, not you, Violet. I'm talking to listeners. I'm going to marry your mom. But the listeners, all of their moms, I'm going to marry them.
Sounds good to me. Just as long as I'm included.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Just checking. Hi, I'm Violet. My pronouns are she, her. I have ADHD. And I just want to take a moment to remind you that there's no such thing as perfect. You're beautiful just as you are. And with all your imperfections, you can do anything.
Whoa, that was like sincere, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's a quote that I love.
You are beautiful no matter what they say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's my favorite quote. It's my.
Don't you really know
There's more. Cool. That's my favorite quote from a fish in a bathtub in a cartoon show.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to talk about. Well, before we get into that, we're doing.
Yes, this is a mini dump.
This is a mini dump. We're taking little dumps here today, y'all. Just little ones.
We're doing a mini dumps. It's a little weird. So my mini dump turned out to be too long for a mini dump, but too short for a regular episode.
Yeah.
Too weird to live, too rare to die. So it's going to be like a medium dump. Like nothing to write home about kind of dump, but bigger than a mini dump.
Like a double mini dump.
It's like a double mini dump. So Violet's going to go first, and then I'm going to have my thicker than usual mini dump in the middle. And she's going to cap us off at the end.
Yeah. So if you imagine it like a sandwich, you've got the middle, which is Brianne's.
All dump.
It's all dump. It's the thicker than usual mini dump in the middle. On either end.
Brianne's dump is in the middle.
On either end of Brianne's big, but not too big dump.
Not too big.
I have two mini dumps, both about dogs.
Oh, I love that.
So it's gonna be great. It's a good time. It's gonna be good.
What is your first dog I'm gonna hear about?
I'm gonna let you choose. Actually, there's two dogs today that I have for you. One is going to be a shorter story about a dog, and one is going to be a longer short story. One's going to be a longer story about a dog that you probably are more familiar with. There's Pickles the dog, and then there's Courage the cowardly dog.
Okay. I know and love Courage already. Please introduce me to my new friend Pickles.
Lovely. The year is 1966. It's a nice, warm March in England. And England is about to host the FIFA World Cup. The Jules Rimet Trophy. A silver-clad statue that everyone is vying for. Everyone, even beyond those participating in the sport. There's a big event going on where they're displaying this trophy before the World Cup. It's a stamp collection thing. Ironically, the stamps are worth millions. The trophy is worth its weight in silver, basically. It's being displayed for fans to see at this event. And it's stolen. Not the $1 million stamps, but the trophy worth significantly less. It's stolen. And just days after it goes on display, this is maybe a couple weeks before the actual World Cup is supposed to start. The whole of London is in an uproar. Everyone is asking who would steal the World Cup trophy. First off, it's such a big thing.
Europeans, you don't mess with them and their FIFA.
Yeah, you don't touch their. Sorry, I almost cussed and said soccer.
Footy.
You don't touch their footy. They're not into that. The Scotland Yard detectives are on the case. They're looking into this. They're tracking down every lead. They're interviewing everyone that was at the event. Nothing. They have no leads. They can't figure out who would do this. They can't figure out how someone did this or why. They can't figure out.
Actually, being 1966, that makes sense. I don't know how they solved anything without
honestly,
the surveillance and the DNA stuff and that kind of thing.
It's hard to say whether or not they had a hit rate better than a random choice. To be fully honest, I don't know.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, unless it's like, hi, I'm Richard. I did steal the trophy. Arrest me. Like, how do you? Yeah.
Or someone hit it very badly, and it's like, oh, I think it's that dude with the giant cup shape under that enormous trench coat.
Right, exactly. So days go by. Nobody knows. A week goes by. No new information, nothing. It's getting closer and closer to the actual event of the World Cup, and people are wondering, how is this going to work? This has never happened before. What do we do when someone wins and we don't have a trophy to give them? And also, trophies are expensive, and we can't just make another one.
Yeah.
How does this work? Whose responsibility is it to get a new trophy if it is stolen? Was it insured? Was that even a thing then? Who's to say? So there's so many questions. People are so confused. It's the talk of the town. The Scotland Yard gets a letter, a ransom letter.
From a dog.
No, but I wish.
Oh.
God, that'd be amazing. If there was a villain
From
dog.
a dog.
No, trust me, we're getting to the dog part, and it's going to be excellent. So the Scotland Yard get a letter, and it's a ransom letter, demanding a significant amount of money in exchange for the trophy.
It's 1966, so they said 300 pounds.
I don't actually know how much they said, because basically the handling of this ransom situation, from what I read, was basically bungled by Scotland Yard. They didn't handle it well. They didn't.
Uh-oh, cops messed up something?
They did, yeah. It did not go well. There was supposed to be an exchange of some sort that happened of money for the trophy. The trophy was supposed to be left at a specific spot. It's unspecified how it was bungled, but it was bungled. And because of that, they lost contact with the people that had the trophy, had no way to know who took it, had no leads. They were completely in the dark. There's a man, David Corbett, in a quiet part of South London, takes his dog Pickles for a walk. As they stroll along, David is going to get into his car when Pickles all of a sudden gets distracted and starts pulling him away, and he points out something right by the wheel of his car in the alleyway, or not the alleyway, in the gutter, basically, by the curb. He goes to look and see what Pickles is pointing out to him, and suddenly he digs at some of the leaves and things in the gutter and some of the trash, and sure enough, there's a big wrapped up bundle of newspaper. He picks it up, looks at it, and it's the Jules Rimet trophy found by Pickles the dog.
What? So someone stole it and just said, yeet?
I think it had something to do with how it was bungled. I think there was supposed to be an exchange of some sort, and it was left at a drop point, and then somehow it got moved there. Nobody knows how it ended up in the street, lying in the street.
And
in
this
newspaper.
the dog said, oh, holy shit, is that the thing for FIFA?
He did, yeah. So obviously David can't believe his eyes. He grabs the trophy. He's not sure what to do next, but he and Pickles both go to the police station and say, holy shit, we found the trophy. Here it is. Obviously, Pickles is hailed as a hero.
A hero?
Hero
Yeah.
dog, absolutely. Almost overnight, he becomes a national celebrity. Everyone wants to meet Pickles. Pickles is amazing. He's an incredible hero dog who saved the World Cup.
The World Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Pickles.
Pickles is great. He is a collie. He is an adorable little guy. Thanks to this very good boy with a sharp nose, England got their trophy back just in time for
some footy.
their version of the big game. To make it even better, they won the World Cup that year. So because of Pickles. Pickles got his own medal. Yes, he was given a medal for his service to the country. I believe not too long after that, Pickles later starred in a movie called The Spy with a Cold Nose. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Pickles, the actual dog that found the trophy, is the dog in this movie. And I'm going to send you a picture really quick. It is so cute. Now, I regret to inform you, the movie is not good. It is a 5 out of 10 on IMDb.
I didn't imagine it was good.
There we go.
Oh my god. Oh my god,
Pickles, the hero dog who saved the world. Cup.
The picture has a bunch of old dudes at a desk, and they're pointing at a paper look at this, Pickles. And Pickles what are you doing?
Yeah.
Pickles is why am I on this fucking desk? Why are you looking at me?
Yeah. He's just looking around what the fuck is going on right
What
now?
am I doing here?
Huh?
Where's my dad?
Yeah. There's also a bully mix dog that also features in the movie that's also very, very cute and big, full of wrinkles. I don't have a picture of them handy, but they're very cute. I kind of want to watch the movie, even though it's poorly reviewed.
It sounds awful, but I could get super stoned and just enjoy a movie with a dog.
A movie with a dog in it.
It's a movie with a dog in it.
A dog detective.
That was all. Dog detective, literally movie with dog in it for a long time as a kid was my only criteria for whether or not I wanted to check something out.
Horse
and
or
TBH hasn't changed a lot.
Yeah, horse or dog.
Horse or dog.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happens to them. Sign me up.
Yeah. So the synopsis of The Spy with a Cold Nose is a dog with a spying device under its skin is sent to the Russian government as a present. When the Russians send the dog to a veterinarian, I don't know why they spelled it weird here, probably British. A British spy must get to the dog first and retrieve the spying device.
Okay. Yeah, loose plot, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll watch a dog run around and do cute shit.
It's real good. I have another picture I'm going to send to you because recently Pickles was featured as a playable character in a video game. It's a gacha game. But it's a video game.
Fortnite has gone too far.
No, it's not. Oh, God, I wish it was Fortnite. There's a game called Reverse 1999. It's like this Japanese gacha game with anime girls. It's a turn-based fantasy RPG. It's got magic and time travel. It's cool. The art is very good. And because it's got like magical characters traveling through time to presumably solve crime.
It has Pickles.
It has Pickles. And my fucking God, did they go off with the artwork of Pickles? Yeah, no, they absolutely like were cooking when they made this artwork of Pickles. I cannot express to you enough how good this is.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
What a noble dog. What a noble hero dog.
Yeah. This is a game where you can, in theory, play as a floating apple with a necktie. Or a hot anime girl in a bunny outfit that serves beer. Or Pickles the dog.
This is the future that leftists want.
Yeah, exactly. It is a gacha game. It's a turn-based fantasy RPG. I don't know if it's good or bad. It came out last year. I'm not a fan of gacha
the dog.
games.
That's what we can tell you.
Yeah, I'm almost ready to download this game, which I don't know if it's in English, to be honest. It might be. Probably is. I don't know. Either way, go look up Reverse 1999 Pickles the dog to see the artwork that I'm talking about. It is so good.
Yeah, and we'll have to include this beautiful, beautiful rendering of Pickles in the notes for Patreon for sure.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
So that's Pickles the dog. He's a hero.
Excellent. Excellent beginning to this mini dump.
Absolutely. He saved the World Cup.
He saved the World Cup. Okay, so my topic, you're going to have to go on a journey with me because I started looking up something for completely different reasons than what I ended up spending most of my time reading about, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And it might feel like a weird topic to some people if they haven't listened to this show very much of why I would be researching this, but my topic is polygamy.
Polygamy, okay.
Kind of. My topic is kind of polygamy. Okay? So, sort of.
Polygamette?
What?
A polygamette? Like a laundromat?
No.
Laundryette?
No. So my topic is sort of polygamy, but not in the general sense. But when I start talking about it, you'll understand where I was going.
All right, I'm here for it.
Okay, so for listeners who this might be your first one, or you just haven't put things together, I have two partners. Violet is one of my partners, and I also have my partner, James. They are my partners. I do not date other people. I'm not the fun kind of polyamorous person who's like, ooh, metropolitan about town, let me go to a sexy party. No, I'm not. But I have two partners, and were it not for the law. No.
That's a joke.
If it were not for the laws of this land, I would have married Violet ages ago, right?
Yeah.
But it's not allowed. But okay, so that's some context for this. Additional context, I'm a quarter Puerto Rican.
She's a Puerto Rican.
I like Freddie Prinze Jr. So I got that Puerto Rican Freddie Prinze thing going on, and everyone here knows I'm autistic. So I was reading something about how the Navajo people recognize autistic traits and treat autism, right? And I was like, fucking cool. I wonder if my Taino ancestors, which are the people indigenous to the island of Boriquen, which is now called Puerto Rico, I wonder if they had some sort of recognition of autistic traits or like what was going on. So the Taino people, a lot of history has been erased. A lot of anthropologists are saying, well, the Taino people haven't existed for a very, very, very long time. But if you look at the island of Puerto Rico, people have Taino DNA, and it's like enough where it's like, okay, they still do exist. But there's a whole thing. Colonizers are going to colonize and try to erase things, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my knowledge about Taino culture and most people's has been like really hard to learn. So I was reading about that to see if the Taino had anything that recognized autism. Didn't find any information about that. But I did find something really, really, really interesting. I did not find anything out about autism, but surprisingly, I did learn a lot about polyamory and polygamy.
Cool.
And something called polyandry, which is where a woman has many husbands. And I was like, okay, interesting. So women could have multiple husbands in Taino culture.
Cool.
It wasn't the norm, but they were one of the very few cultures where that was allowed. And when I saw that very few cultures have women with multiple spouses, I was like, okay, now I need to go see what the other ones are. And I need to go see, is it always multiple husbands, or can they have multiple spouses of any gender? Or has that been a thing, right? And I'm like, is there a culture historically that had just a beautiful bisexual love fest that I get to live every day? And I got very curious. But I wanted to read more about Taino marriage, right?
Yeah.
And how that worked. So villages were run by someone with the title of cacique or cacica, so like a chief. So
okay.
cacica is if you were female. So if a woman was cacica of her village, the culture was matrilineal, and it wouldn't be uncommon for a woman to be a leader.
Hell yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily the same as polyamory when a woman had multiple spouses, since they didn't necessarily love more than one of the people they married, which was really interesting. So there were two types of marriages. You would have a general marriage, and that's who you married because you love them and you wanted to spend your life with them. And then there was a royal marriage, and this was for the caciques. So a royal marriage was mainly ceremonial and political. Fidelity was still fundamental to both types of marriage, and adultery was punishable by death.
Whoa. Okay.
But someone could have up to 30 spouses.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you could boink all of them as long as you were married.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you only really loved one of them.
Okay, interesting.
I imagine there were people who are like, oh no, I fell in love with my royal marriage person. Didn't expect that. I imagine that happened, right?
God,
but the standard was,
Whoa.
Yeah. So it wasn't the norm because it was something that was afforded to only people in the leadership positions. And I don't imagine everyone in a leadership position was like, I'm going to go marry a bunch of people. It wasn't quite the free, like, gender inclusive love fest that I was like initially jazzed about when I learned that women could have multiple spouses. So I went looking to see if that exists, where a woman could have multiple spouses and those spouses could be any gender. I'm going to cut to the end and tell you I did not find that specifically, but I have some thoughts about that in general concerning today. But I did go find a lot more about polyandry, where a woman could have multiple husbands.
Okay.
Because I was also just really curious about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So polygamy is banned in most parts of the world. And I do want to acknowledge that for a lot of cultures, it does get used to subjugate and control women.
For sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
For sure.
I don't remember the name of that one show, but there was that TV show for a long time that had that guy that had like several wives, sister wives.
Oh, Big Love? Or the show
called?
Sister Wives?
I think it was the show
Sister
Sister
with
Wives.
Bill Paxton. Okay, I'm thinking of the fictional like Showtime or Star show with Bill Paxton.
Oh no, I was thinking of like a reality TV show with. Was it just called Sister Wives?
Yeah, it was just called Sister Wives.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's the one I'm thinking of, and that dude always just like seemed like kind of a chode.
Yeah, and there are different cultures where it does get used to subjugate women, and I won't overlook that. But I would also point out that we live in a culture where Christo-fascists will use monogamous marriage to subject women.
Yeah.
And I come from that sort of culture where the goal was for me to find a husband to marry that I would submit to, and he would decide everything for the house because they believed that God had ordained him to make decisions for me, and my goal was to blend into the background and do whatever he said because he was the voice of God, and I had to follow that. So
Gross.
monogamy can do that too. That doesn't get brought up a lot. That's the reason I hate the term ethical non-monogamy, because it implies that non-monogamy is essentially unethical by design, and you have to specify. Because there's plenty of monogamy that I don't feel is very ethical, because some people are very bad to their spouses.
Absolutely.
I could go on a tangent about that. I just did not want to breeze over the fact that polygamy gets used to subject some people, but also consider that monogamy does the same. And it's illegal most places, but TBH, the main reason you can't marry more than one person is capitalism, because like trust laws would absolutely be demolished if people could marry more than one person. And a lot of it is money related as to why they don't want you to marry more than one person. And the idea of the nuclear family that they want to protect so much is by design, so you're insular and only caring about the small number of people in your home. So I wanted to highlight the fact that some folks use this practice for bad, but also, why do we not acknowledge the other side of things, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'm off of my soapbox. I just wanted to clarify that, because some people are like, it's used to subject women to horrible things. Like, yes, I understand for some people, but like many things, there's a good and a bad side.
Yeah, but I get it. That's a good thing to point out, and I think it's worth climbing up on the high soapbox for.
Only about 2% of the population lives in a polygamous household. It is most common in sub-Saharan Africa, where 11% of the population lives in an arrangement that has more than one spouse. Regardless of where in the world it is practiced, religion always plays a central role in how polygamy is governed. So there are some places where governmentally it's not allowed, but they allow for this specific type of religious marriage in which they can have multiple spouses and that kind of thing. So religion always plays a role. So like in the United States, they want to say, Christo-fascist evangelical fundamentalists would like to say marriage is between one man and one woman, and try to tell you that that's the only arrangement. Yeah. And that is rooted in religion. So I learned something that made me kind of sad, and that's that only 1 in 5 U.S. adults believe polygamy is morally acceptable.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I would like to invite the 4 that don't to suck my balls. So
Yeah, fuck those people. I have a question. So I know you mentioned polyandry is a woman having multiple spouses.
Multiple husbands, specifically.
Sorry, multiple husbands. Is polygamy specifically a man having multiple wives?
No, that's just the general term for multiple marriages.
Okay. Is there a specific term like polyandry for a man
I believe it's polygamy? Something.
Huh.
Yeah. Let me look that up real quick. You got me curious. Oh, it's pronounced. Okay. So it's pronounced polygyny.
My polygina.
My polygina. That's what I call my polyamorous vagina.
I feel like if it's a woman with several cis male husbands, that they should call it polinus.
Polinus.
To make it fair.
But yeah, so I was bummed to find out that 1 in 5 people find my desired lifestyle to be morally objectionable. Whatever, suck my balls, I don't care. But so when I looked to see if a woman could have multiple spouses in other cultures, it was always just husbands. So whatever, I still wanted to look into that more. So I found that this is a recognized and really accepted thing in roughly 24 different societies in the Tibetan plateau.
Oh, cool.
So these different societies, wonderful hats.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful hats. The knitwear, beautiful.
You
much fiber art.
Listen, I'm not going to say there's a causation there, but there's a correlation. Because you're good at knitwear and knitting and crocheting. There's a connection between fiber art and polygamy here.
There's a connection between fiber art and a woman having multiple spouses.
Yeah. No, there's something there.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
So There was a paper from 2013 that found through a survey of literature there are actually 53 societies outside of the quote-unquote classically polyandrous cultures of Tibet, and they are in not so distant history. So they found them from all the continents, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, except Antarctica, but they're not polar bears who are like, these are my husbands.
Yeah, no, the world's not cool enough for that.
So, interestingly enough, half of the groups found were hunter-gatherer cultures, and the majority outside of that were agriculturalist societies. So, there is a strong connection between a woman having multiple husbands and an agriculturally focused society.
Okay. Need more men to do the farm work, I guess.
So there are several cultures in Tibet where brothers will marry the same woman.
Whoa.
And tracking whose kid is whose may be different between those cultures because they might not know who has fathered a child, right?
Whoa,
So
yeah.
some of them just decide that all of the children are the oldest brothers.
Wait, what?
Even though they know that's not true. If they're tracking parentage, they just decide, okay, these two brothers are married to the same woman. And it's usually brothers in this example I saw. The older brother is just culturally considered to be the father of all of those children.
Huh.
Right? Very interesting.
I feel like that would be super weird to be the younger brother there.
Yeah, like none of these kids are mine. Right?
Yeah, no.
Wild.
That's weird, yeah. I say weird, but I just mean it's so unfamiliar to me. It's very, very different.
Yeah. So polyandry, again, is what they're talking about. It's super heteronormative, but it's all they've written about. Yeah. But this paper suggests that a culture's ability to include polyandry is actually evolutionarily adaptive as a phenomenon and not socially motivated. So when you look at the fact that they're agricultural and hunter-gatherer societies, you're sort of surmising that it's to have more people to work on the land is actually probably pretty accurate. They bring up things of what the actual geography is like, scarcity of resources, population, like the number of people that are there also in some of these places has an effect. So it is motivated by circumstance, and it is someone evolutionarily adapting to the environment they're in to survive as like a family unit, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this just kind of got me musing on like the now times and here and how polyamory is like way more widely seen and more widely accepted than it has been before. Like there are some TV shows that are just casually saying, oh, this is a polyamorous relationship. And I wouldn't have fathomed that, just 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
It flies in the face of like the insular family structure that capitalism and imperialism sees as like the moral choice of a person. Mm-hmm. Like you're brought up to believe your goal is to find a partner and have, 2.5 kids and buy a house and do all of these things.
Yeah. And, I always think it's funny because I feel like a lot of those same people that are given and follow this kind of prescriptivist, here's how one should live a life kind of stuff, and they take that and they do it, and they like get married and have 2.5 kids and get a car and a house and settle down and get a boring job that makes plenty of money and all of this stuff, right? They do all of this, and then like, what is the meaning of life? And it's like, well,
and they go and cheat on their spouse.
And it's like, but you went with the meaning that capitalism gave you, and then you fucked it up.
Which for a lot of people is something that makes them extremely happy, and I don't want to discount that. I do not engage very easily in sort of polyamorous groups, because a lot of polyamorous people have the same vibe as like a Reddit atheist. If you get what I'm saying, where they're like, anyone who believes in any religion must surely be a dipshit, and I'm so enlightened, and me, this one human Redditor, has figured out there is no God empirically, right?
Yeah, you're getting cucked by big religion.
Yeah. So I am not one of those polyamorous people who's like, if you're monogamous, you're unenlightened, and humans aren't monogamous, and this and this and this.
Nah.
Do I think humans are hardwired for monogamy? No. Do I think that my ability to love more than one person at once and be very happy with that arrangement is part of who I am? Also, yes. And I don't think that's the case for a lot of people. The same way I don't think everyone is a lesbian. That's the same way I don't think everyone should be polyamorous. And I also think there are a lot of people who are being monogamous who probably shouldn't be monogamous, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So with how much that has increased in recent history, the number of people exploring polyamory or realizing they're polyamorous, it just got me wondering, is this an adaptive evolution to our material conditions? Because there are memes all of the time saying you have to have a polycule to afford a home. And quite literally, the only reason we can afford a home is because there are 3 of us, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to afford where we live if we didn't have 3 people contributing to this.
Yeah. And to be clear, we don't have some big mansion. We have just a
normal
house.
a normal house, right? So it's more common, and people do make a lot of jokes about needing to be polyamorous just to afford housing, but is it also us simply deconstructing the family units we were told were the only valuable forms of family? Is it that polyamory is inherently queer? Because there are people who are like, I'm straight and polyamorous, and I actually don't vibe a lot with those people a lot of the time. But I also don't really have straight friends anymore, now that I'm thinking about it, so, But yeah, I didn't have any, real big point to this, but it just had me, It had me thinking about stuff, you know what I mean? Because it is so much more common, and, even, just telling people I have more than one partner is not something that generally in queer circles gets a reaction. Straight people are like, how does that work? Whose room do you sleep in? What is
the majority of people, I would say not even just straight people, just the majority of people, I think, are just like, I don't understand how that works.
Honestly, when I talk to most fellow queer people, they're like, oh, right on, what are your partners' names? They don't care. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's just not that big a deal.
And if they don't do that, they just unsolicited go, oh, I could never do that. And I'm like, cool, I'm not trying to fuck you.
Yeah, it's literally as simple as Brianne and James met in school and love each other and are together. And then the same thing happened with me and Brianne.
And now I love them both.
Yeah.
And I am with both of them. They are not with each other. But yeah. Anyway, so that is a weird winding. You see why this isn't just a mini dump, but I kind of went winding all around looking at, do my ancestors bring up autistic traits at all? No, they didn't. Whoa, multiple husbands. And then you can see my train of thought.
Yeah. It was a good medium girth dump.
A medium girth dump. Not the girthiest dump. But
no, certainly not. We're not going to clog anything with this dump.
No.
No.
So what do you have for me for our fight? Well, it's Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah,
I know
you know.
Tell me more about Courage.
All right, so Courage the Cowardly Dog. Let me rearrange my screens here so I can appropriately describe to you just how magical this dog is.
This little purple man.
Not purple.
He do look purple.
So officially, Courage is pink.
Pink? He looked like a purple. Let me go look at this purple dog.
Yeah. Courage's breed officially is a pink beagle. This is per the creator.
Okay.
I did my research.
Awfully purple.
I'm going to tell you right now, I was talking about this with James while you were upstairs right before we came to record this. And he said, can you believe that some people think he's purple?
Okay, well. Okay, he is quite pink, but I think the show is so dark, my brain just said purple.
That's fair. A lot of this show, I think
there are a lot of scenes that are so dark that my brain... Okay, sure. I'm looking at some Okay, I see why I was confused.
Yeah.
It also depends on what background you have him on.
Right, and the lighting and your own memories. It's an older show, you might just be misremembering, it happens.
Yeah, I'm looking at one where he straight up just looks like a white dog.
Well, I know there's a lot of scenes where I think at least one scene where he gets covered in like powder and like
Yeah,
but anyway.
cocaine usage. Yes, this pink dog. And now my other partner's going to let me hear it because Violet's going to go downstairs and go, James, Brianne thought courage is purple. James.
It reminds me of the time that you said you thought I might be a little bit colorblind, and I'm going, maybe.
My memory. I haven't watched Courage in ages. I was going off of my memories.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I'm sure there's something equivalent for me. I'm sure. So what is Courage the Cowardly Dog? If you haven't heard of Courage the Cowardly Dog, if you're probably like 18 or 100.
Oh, I found a screenshot from the episode where they show when Muriel found him.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, he had his little diaper. Okay,
His
continue.
little
I need to shut out of these pictures.
Yeah, he's a sweet guy. So, Courage the Cowardly Dog is an American animated comedy horror television series created by John R. Dilworth for Cartoon Network. It was produced by Dilworth's animation studio Stretch Films, and the show is about a dog named Courage who lives with an elderly couple in a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, a fictional town in Kansas. Literally, nowhere, Kansas. In each episode, the trio of Eustace, Muriel, and Courage are thrown into bizarre...
Bag.
Yeah, Eustace and Muriel Bag. They are thrown into bizarre, frequently disturbing, and often paranormal or supernatural situations where they are usually rescued by Courage. The series is known for its dark, surreal humor and atmosphere. All of this to say, I feel like it's one of the best cartoon shows there was. There were so few shows out there for kids that did horror right. And I think there were so few, even fewer shows that did horror comedy right. And this is like
the only other one I think of is Ah Real Monsters.
Literally, that was going to be my example. Was the other one I can think of is Ah Real Monster. Courage the Cowardly Dog is so unique in its animation style. It is so purely John R. Dilworth. Like, you could recognize his artwork anywhere. And I'm a huge fan of John Dilworth. He's done a number of things aside from Courage the Cowardly Dog that are all worth checking out. And he's just a really cool guy. He's just like a nice person. Genuinely, like,
this is recorded on November 1st, 2024. I'm giving you this date for posterity in case it turns out that he's like, oh, actually, I think Hitler had some great ideas or something. I don't expect him to do that, but before I say the name of any man on this show and speak of him favorably, I just want to give you the date so you know that as of this date, we think he's okay.
Yeah.
We think he's fine.
And the reason, I have reasons for thinking that, and I'll get to why. I have some snippets from some interviews that he's done that definitely make him think that he's on our team, if that makes sense. Like, specifically, there's an episode called The Mask, where two characters that are both not explicitly stated, but interpreted, like, designed as female, kiss. And, like, there are a lot of people that say that this is a reference to LGBTQ themes. And there was an interview where he was asked, was that intentional? And he said, just between you and I, absolutely. However, this admission will only upset the quote-unquote status quo and perhaps rebound back on me. We still live in a dominatingly narrow world, cosmos, and tolerance is not tolerated.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. He also mentioned, what other themes did you try to tackle with the show? He said, where's the hashtag movement? Big theme in that cartoon. I don't quite know what he meant by that part. But then he said, loss of self, the industry of slavery, domestic violence or the threat of it, animal cruelty, personal freedoms. I could go on, but the audiences are turned on to the material and could offer up good juices.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah. He seems like a good dude, legitimately. And like, the only thing that I would say that he has not done explicitly is feature more people of color in the show. The show is... its plot is basically everyone's hanging out, Courage is chilling, some spooky thing happens, and Courage tries in vain to warn Eustace and Muriel. Eustace is like this old farmer dude, and he's not very nice to Courage. He calls him stupid dog a lot.
That would upset me so deeply as a child. I hated Eustace so fucking much.
Yes.
I hated him so much. I was like, don't you talk to him like that.
Yeah, and that was, I think John Dilworth has an appreciation for animals in a similar sense, because very often bad things happen to Eustace as part of his hubris and his ignorance and his just general
he
meanness.
Fucking deserves it for being mean to that little boy.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. And so often, I can't tell you how many episodes end with Muriel, who is nice to Courage, and Courage just hanging out while Eustace is like trapped in a slab or something like that.
Yeah, it's my favorite is the ending is that Eustace is reaping what he has sown, and then Courage is usually like snuggling up to Muriel, who's like, "Oh, what a good boy, Courage."
Yeah. What a good boy, Courage.
What a good boy, Courage.
So good. Part of what Courage is known for is like obviously the art style, but I think one thing that I think is not quite as touted but is more recognizable, I think, or if you really think about it, is the sound of the show. Like if I go dun 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 dun, like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not referencing Mission Impossible where that beat is actually from.
Yeah.
I'm referencing Courage the Cowardly Dog, and I think most people would gravitate to that. Also, Courage's voice, he very much babbles a lot when he's scared, like exactly. He's got a very kind of like almost a Weasley, like a kind of voice to him. And interestingly enough, so that the voice actor behind Courage is Marty Grabstein, and the fascinating thing is that Marty was originally intended to be replaced. That Weasley kind of
was
voice
just
for Courage,
just a
it was temporary. Yeah, exactly. Grabstein's unique portrayal of that, and like how he portrayed him, and like this very chaotic, sometimes babbling, but also sometimes clear speech, like, I don't know, something's fishy, or my name's Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it's not. Like, like the lines where he says stuff like that just in plain English, like it's so charming, and that it just really won over the production team. And so they just said, hey, please keep voicing Courage throughout the series. Interestingly enough, though, after the first season, the creators at Cartoon Network thought that Courage talked too much, and so they requested that his dialogue was cut shorter for the second season onward.
He doesn't talk that much, even in the first season.
Same. I feel the same way. But apparently I think I said creators before. The producers, I think, at Cartoon Network were the ones that said he talked too much.
They talk too much. Shut up. He's perfect.
Yeah, he's perfect. So where did Courage come from? Right? How did that character come about? Courage originated as a side character called Hamilton in what is described as a grotesquely animated short called Smart Talk with Raisin from 1994. I haven't seen it. I wasn't able to really easily find a clip that featured him.
When they say grotesque in 1994,
they meant it.
Oh, they meant it because, like, that was when there's definitely that 2010s, like, Cartoon Network sort of house style thing where a lot of shows started looking the same. Like, after Adventure Time, they're like, we need to draw all of it exactly like Adventure Time now, right?
Right.
In the 90s, it was like, we need to make everything like Ren and Stimpy.
Yep.
And you get that carryover into SpongeBob, like, but they use that very good for comedic effect, like dry SpongeBob.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
But yeah, Courage didn't fit that mold either, though.
No, yeah. So Courage was originally just kind of a side character in this other thing that Dilworth worked on. And several years later, he decided, hey, I like this character. I kind of want to use this character more. So the character was renamed and reworked completely into a short that Dilworth made called The Chicken from Outer Space in 1996. And that was aired as Courage the Cowardly Dog, The Chicken from Outer Space, and ended up becoming the de facto pilot for the series, which was animated in the same and written in the same fashion and tone. There was actually a revival of the show planned later on in 2014 called The Fog of Courage, but it did not actually pan out, unfortunately.
Aww.
Which is kind of lame. It was like meant to have the same tone as the original show, but in CG instead of the 2D animation. It didn't.
Oh,
It
I
didn't
would
end up
hate
working
that.
out very well.
Oh, I would
Yeah,
hate the CG. No, 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 no.
yeah, no, it didn't work out very well. But and this is something I didn't know about, and I want to watch this because I feel like you'd be hype about it. 7 years later, there was a team up movie between Scooby Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know about this.
I didn't
2021.
either. Why have
Straight-
I not been watching this since then?
I've never heard of this before, but it's called Straight Outta Nowhere. Scooby Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh my God! 2 dogs, 2 mystery dogs,
Two
2
mystery
mystery dogs that I love.
2 scaredy mystery dogs.
2 scaredy.
that you love.
They're both gonna be
Yes.
like ghost.
Yeah, and
Ah!
that one, to my knowledge, didn't get canceled. I think it's a thing that you can go watch, and I want to do so.
If it's not a thing I can watch, I'm gonna be devastated.
There is like pictures and stuff of it online.
I will
so,
be
like,
devastated if I can't watch
No,
this.
same. Absolutely. Going back to the sounds, when deciding on sound effects for the show, Dilworth deliberately tried to, at all costs, avoid pre-made stock sounds because he wanted the show to sound unique. He created a substantial amount of new material, like sound material, himself for the show. And
Whoa.
specifically, he only sent and like picked out sounds that made him laugh. Which I was like, that's such a good policy, honestly.
Honestly, doing audio drama stuff, there's sometimes where there will be a sound that James picks because it gets the laugh that James wants to use because it's funny.
Yeah, honestly. I totally get that. Like, it's such a good policy. Like, you're making horror comedy. You can go, it's easy to figure out something that's creepy, right? But if it doesn't make you laugh, that's the tough part.
Yeah,
I feel like it's harder to nail down.
One of my favorite ones he's done is we have, if you don't listen to our other show, there is a vampire dog who can teleport, played by one of our dear departed pups, who we still have all of this audio for. And James created a teleport sound that included a little fart at the end because my recording sessions with him were playing with him with a toy to get him to make growling sounds and stuff, and then recording him while he was eating dinner. And there was one recording where he's eating dinner and he does a fart that is very close to the mic, and you have an audible fart from a dog, and that fart is at the end of his teleportation thing. James had it, so every time he teleports, it goes, and that's so good. I didn't ask for that, but it's so funny. The funniest thing wins.
Yeah, I did just look it up, by the way. You can apparently, I think it's out. You can go watch the show. I believe it's It is a movie you can watch. It has ratings and everything, and I think it is watchable on Apple TV, on YouTube, Amazon Prime Video, Sling TV. The reviews aren't great. It's like a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, but in my heart,
I don't care.
It's a 10 out of 10.
Do you know how many of my favorite things I watch have like a 4 on IMDb because I love garbage?
Yeah, fair. I mean, Johnny Mnemonic, I don't think is very highly rated.
Yeah. I love good garbage.
Yeah. Love good garbage. So the show ran for several years. There were a total of 4 seasons and 52 episodes among those 4 seasons. And it was first previewed, interestingly enough, in American movie theaters before Pokemon the first movie. Like previews for that movie. So if you went to the premiere for that, you may have seen Courage the Cowardly Dog for the first time on the same day.
I might have. I don't remember. I did go see that in theaters.
It's very possible you saw Courage the Cowardly Dog for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for the first time before that. Wow.
So about John Dilworth. Dilworth has earned tons of awards. He has won awards in film festivals all over the world for his work as a producer and director of like over a dozen independent and sponsored short films. There's stuff called The Dirty Birdie, Smart Talk with Raisin, Life in Transition, Rinky Dink. He's done commercial stuff that he's won awards for. I mean, from CBS, Showtime, HBO, Fox, Nickelodeon, MTV. Like, the dude's everywhere. He's in the Guggenheim Museum. Like, seriously, he's an amazing artist. So I think he's in more places than people realize. People associate him with Courage so much, but he's really just like an amazing artist. I have some snippets here from an interview, or a couple interviews actually kind of merged together, and I just kind of picked out questions that I thought were the funnest ones. There's a question, which episode of Courage is your personal favorite and why? And he said, King Ramses Cursed. And that's the one where he's like, return the slab.
With
where,
the floaty mummy.
Yeah, the one that gave people nightmares really
Yeah.
bad.
That floaty mummy who's like,
Exactly. So the reasoning is, one, the music for the episode, and two, my brother Jim Dilworth designed the creepy low end CG Ramses.
Oh yeah,
So
no, I still can picture that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a shame also that Jim Dilworth, his brother, did pass away partway through the production of the show. And it's such a shame. Just like his 3D animations were so influential to the show, and like it was just I can't imagine losing someone in the like 9/11 happened during the course of the show also, like during the run of the show. So like so many things happened during the show, and it's like I imagine like the loss of his brother might have been one of the toughest things that he went through during that point. And it's interesting to see, look back and think how it may have affected the show. And like
if I lost anyone who'd worked on Today's Lucky Winner, I don't know that I would be able to continue making it.
Yeah, I honestly
don't think
I
would be able to keep. It would be really hard to be funny again.
I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I don't know if I could either.
It's a lot. But I have another question here. How did Cartoon Network pick up Courage the Cowardly Dog? He says, I went to Hollywood and pitched the storyboard wearing full spaceman gear. I found this awesome silver one-piece jumpsuit, jazzed it up with alien decals, spray-painted boots silver, and found a helmet I rigged with a propeller on top. I was also juggling. The room was full of executives. They all loved it. Also, the short Chicken from Outer Space was nominated for an Oscar. That could have helped the acquisition.
Yeah, might have. Or it could have been the boots.
It could have been. I think it was the propeller, honestly. I'm going to send you a picture, by the way, from him, of him wearing that outfit, which is so good. I would have sold anything this man presented me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I trust him.
And I in the podcast notes, I'm going to have some links to these interviews if you want to read more questions that he answered. I already talked about the mask episode and the references to LGBTQ stuff, other themes he tried in the show. So really interesting interviews. I like his answers. It's all very like he's just kind of giving the answers. Like none of this is scripted.
Yeah, it's genuine answers.
Yeah. So
yeah,
seems
like a genuine
really cool
person.
Guy.
These aren't canned responses.
And I like that he's not like secretive about anything. Like he's like, yeah, I'll answer your questions. Like none of this needs to be a secret. There's lots of theories.
So weird about that. People get
they
so
really
weird. And it's like, hey, I'm not in competition with you. There's enough art makings for everybody. Make your art. I don't want to gatekeep anything. Literally, if anyone asks me questions about podcast stuff, it's like, I don't want to inundate you with links. Can I send you a bunch of stuff? You should, like, I get excited that someone else is wanting to do it.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
I love when people genuinely answer questions like that. And they're not like, I don't talk about that.
Yeah. And like there's tons of fan theories about Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, oh, he's actually dead and all of the people represent like death in some way. And it's like, all right, whatever, man. Yeah. And like
Dog afraid of mummy, it good. Dog go and I like watching that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that like anytime Mr. Dilworth hears those things, he's just kind of like, you're overthinking it.
You're overthinking it. Dog scared. Dog good, dog scared, dog save people. That's the show.
Yeah, that's the show. To finish things up, I've kind of got a little list of fun facts about the show. The names Muriel and Eustace are taken from the middle names of Chandler Bing and Ross Geller of Friends.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was mind-blowing to me. I was just like, I'm sorry, he did what?
He took those from Friends.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't think of a more perfect name, but like, I don't know how he decided. How do you decide to do that? Like, were you just looking up their middle names and was like, Muriel and Eustace? That's it. I'm going to use it for this show.
Honestly, I've pulled names out of my ass for stuff with much weirder. Yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
But yeah. Throughout the series, the word Dill, D-I-L, or another variation of creator John Dilworth's name is seen in the background in most of the episodes. A sketch of Dilworth can be seen throughout most of episodes as well, predominantly on the wall near the stairs in the house.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's a portrait of John R. Dilworth. Here's another fun fact. The iconic farmhouse where Courage and his owners, Muriel and Eustace, live is inspired by a real-life haunted house in Quebec, Canada.
Whoa.
Yeah. Dilworth stumbled upon this spooky house during his travels and found it so eerie that it became the perfect inspiration for the show's setting.
Very cool.
Courage is confirmed to be a pink beagle. Specifically, that is his breed.
Okay.
Yeah. There are 4 episodes that are unavailable outside the U.S. for not entirely specified reasons, but that they wouldn't be appropriate for some audiences. But they're just not available outside the U.S.
Weird.
That is Freaky Fred, which is my favorite episode, which is the "You've been very naughty."
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's got the la 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 theme. Yeah. Very, very creepy episode. There's Courage in the Big Stinkin' City, which is such a good name. Demon in the Mattress is banned outside of the U.S. And then there's an episode called Bad Hair Day. I'm not sure why that one's banned, but that's one where Eustace gets like upset because he's bald, and there's like a commercial for this like hair tonic stuff, but it like makes them turn into like giant balls of hair instead of. Yeah, it's weird. In the intro, I have one more fun fact. In the intro, Eustace, in order to be mean to Courage, pulls out a big scary mask and goes "Ooga booga booga."
Mm-hmm.
Originally, that was supposed to be just a shotgun.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But Cartoon Network said, "Hey, no.
Maybe don't threaten to shoot the dog."
Yeah, no, definitely not. But one of the things I've always wanted to do for Halloween, but have never done, was basically recreate the Ooga Booga Booga mask from Courage the Cowardly Dog, just to wear as a mask.
Why would you? You don't need to. Hey, Halloween was yesterday as of this recording. Why wait till next year? Just make it for fun.
I should make it for fun. That'd be a fun project. I think it's funny too because it's like a weird corrupted Bart Simpson for some reason.
Yeah, we could put it on the wall.
If you're cool with that.
We'll see how it turns out. It might go on the wall.
Okay, cool. Maybe on the fridge if it's really good.
The fridge is better than the wall?
In my heart, somehow it is.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's where the important drawings go when I was young.
Well.
Wow, we're going to put this on the fridge.
Ooh. Well, thank you so much. Now I want to go watch that Courage Scooby-Doo crossover very, very, very badly.
Yeah, same, honestly. I think we should go do that.
Well, we're going to go watch Courage and Scooby-Doo. We'll see y'all. Bye. It's me. I'm going to kick off the housekeeping section by saying thank you to our Patreon supporters: Dave Perrell, Steve Hernacki, Megan E., Carl Brooks, Natasha Neves, Lace Ann, Gus, Lutzi, Helen Clifford, B. Trossler, Kelly Brennan, Sewing Seraph, Rachel Rachelson, Fintago, and Randy Lovings. Now, you know the deal. If you want to help us out, you can help us by telling people about the show. We don't pay for advertising and we don't take paid advertising. So the way we grow the most is by you telling people about the show. So if you know someone who might be into this, you are in a Discord server or a subreddit or a Facebook group or whatever little mini corner of the internet you hide on, and you think the people there would like it, tell them about the show. That helps us out a lot. If you are someone who has the means to help us out fiscally, then you can check the show details to get the link to our Patreon page. There are lots of rewards. There are different levels. You get a shout out at every level, and you'll get rewards for anything we do at Mixnomer. So if you like Today's Lucky Winner, you'll get that. We're doing a Today's Lucky Winner spinoff. There will be rewards from that. I'm working on another audio drama. You'll get rewards for that. It's just the one-stop shop for anything this group of weirdos makes together. So if you want to support us and you have some cash to float around, tiers start at just $1 a month, and you can really help us out. And even if you can't support us fiscally, I would like to invite you to go check out the show details to see the link to our Discord server. You can come hang out with us. We have Stitch and Bitch time every week. We do body doubling every week. We play Jackbox games. We have really good... the memes are fire. I gotta tell you, that's where I get the best memes. But yeah, come join us. Come hang out. It's an autistic and ADHD gay paradise, for me at least. And I get exhausted from socializing, but I do like having a good time in that server. Oh, did you hear a dog? A dog just jumped on the floor. Sorry if I sound weird. I'm in a different room. It's a whole thing. Anyway, that's all I got for you. If you want to see what me and Violet are up to on our different corners of the internet, you can check out the show details to see our social media handles. And until next time, clever sign off.